Dowell from Align Natural Health, and I should be operating now on Facebook and Instagram. So hopefully you can see me. Hopefully you can hear me. I know I had some troubles last time I did this with my microphone, so hopefully it's working properly now. So I wanted to talk to you today a little bit about how when you go for blood work sometimes and your results come back and the doctor says to you, everything's normal, there's nothing wrong with you, what that actually can mean, and how if you're still having symptoms or you're still having issues, this may be a sign for you that you need to look for someone else to help you dig deeper. And this was my experience in the past as well. When it comes to, I went through school, I went to holistic nutrition college when I was in my 30s, and I started gaining weight. And nothing really had changed. I was still eating really healthy. I was still going to the gym pretty much every single day and working out before studying, before class. Nothing really in my life had changed, but I was gaining weight and I couldn't figure out why. To be honest, I felt like a little bit of a fraud as a holistic nutritionist because I was like, I should know how to deal with this. I should know what I need to eat. I know how to exercise. I had a personal training certification as well. And I gained upwards of 20 to 30 pounds while I was at school. So I was really frustrated. And when school finished, I started changing the way I was eating and doing different things. And I would lose a little bit of weight, but then I would gain it back. And I couldn't figure out why. And so I went to my doctor and I said, like, I think there's something going on with my thyroid. Because in school, we'd learned a bunch of the different symptoms. So we'd learned my hair was falling out. I'll talk about that later, actually, because I have an interesting story about that. But my hair was falling out. My hands and feet were cold all the time. I was exhausted and I was gaining weight, even though I was doing all the things. And my doctor said, okay, we'll send you for blood work. And I went for blood work and it came back. And she said, your results are normal. There's nothing wrong with you. And so I persisted a little bit. When we go for blood work, a lot of the times, the tests that are traditionally run, or that was run by my doctor as well, was your TSH, which is the thyroid stimulating hormone, which is a very basic panel when it comes to thyroid numbers. Ultimately, the thyroid stimulating hormone is just the hormone that the pituitary produces to tell the thyroid you need to create hormones. So if there's low thyroid stimulating hormone, okay, there's a problem there. But ultimately, you need free T3 and you need some T4 as well for things to be functioning properly. And when you go to the doctor and the only thing they're willing to run is the basics, you're not seeing the whole picture. The other problem here that I learned in school, and more so after as well, was that the numbers that you're being compared against are kind of the baseline of normal. So that's not your numbers. It's not saying that, this is the range that you function the most optimally at. It's saying this is the reference range that, most people do pretty much okay at. And if you think about it, when it comes to blood work, who are the people that go to the doctor and ask to have their thyroid checked? They're not people who are in optimal health. They're people who are struggling. So the reference ranges are a little bit skewed when it comes to what's going to be ideal and optimal for you. And again, because these numbers are compared to everyone else, not just to you specifically, it's not painting a clear picture of what's going on with you. So that was one of the big things that I learned in nutrition school, was that we need to focus on symptoms. Symptomatology were two of my favorite courses because we talked about things that I had experienced in the past as well. If you go to the doctor, if your blood work comes back normal, if everything is ideal on paper, but you still have symptoms or you still feel like garbage, that's not okay. So nutrition school taught me that, which was great. So someone is dealing with thyroid symptoms, their thyroid blood work comes back perfect, but they're still having issues. Okay, we need to dig a little bit deeper and give them support for the symptoms that they're having, which is something that I did with clients for quite a few years. So the thyroid's not functioning properly. So we take a look at what are the foods that are going to support thyroid? What are the things they may be doing in their daily life that may be not supporting thyroid? And we can work on building the body up in that sense. But it wasn't until I went into learning about quantum nutrition testing that I really had an understanding of what digging deeper really meant. Because why was my thyroid not functioning properly? Why was I holding on to the weight? And when I started working with a quantum nutrition practitioner, I work with one as well. Even though I do this as a professional, I still work on these things too, because ultimately, anyone needs to be paying attention to their health. We're all going to have things that can use support and that we can work on. And so when I started working with a practitioner, and weight was one of my complaints, not sleeping well was one of my complaints, energy was one of my complaints. She was able to check me and say, okay, your thyroid is not functioning properly. Why? Why is it not functioning properly? And a lot of the times, this can affect other organs in the body as well, because if there's one hormone that's not functioning well, other ones are going to be impacted. So when your adrenals are stressed out, could have been the case with going back to school, they're going to lean on the thyroid for support. When the thyroid is stressed out, it's going to lean on the heart. So ultimately, to look at the body, we can't look at the body as one thing operates individually. Where everything is symbiotic, everything works together. So if there's something going on with your thyroid, there's other things that are impacted as well. And what we figured out when we used the testing to test my body to see what the problem was that my adrenals were a big part of the problem. And my adrenals were really stressed out because they were dealing with radiation. I'm on a phone and a computer right now and in front of a mic, and I used to wear headphones, I used to wear a Fitbit. Radiation comes at us from all different angles throughout the day. And for me, that was impacting my thyroid, and it wasn't functioning properly as a result. Okay, so now we have the cause. Now we have the reason why the thyroid's not functioning properly. And blood work doesn't look at that. Blood work is really helpful for some things. It's helpful for the doctors to be able to say, okay, you fit into this range where I can give you medication. But for me, I struggled with thyroid symptoms for years. And because I didn't fit into that bucket that labels me as someone that can be given thyroid medication, I just continued to struggle. And that's where using quantum testing, a lot of the times the symptoms will come up long before anything will show up on blood work. Long before you'll show up in a range where the doctor can say, you know what, this warrants medication. This warrants giving you support so that we're able to move forward. So this is where being able to connect energetically, essentially, with the body to test to see what organs are functioning well and what organs need support, then we can start giving your body what it needs now. So you don't have to get to that point. So you don't have to struggle for years with weight gaining, with hair falling out, with all the symptoms, because you're not at a level where you're eligible to be put on medication. Ultimately, medication is not fixing the problem. Medication is covering up the symptoms or trying to make the symptoms not as bad. So if we can use quantum testing to test you now, if you're dealing with anything, to figure out what the cause is and give you the support that you need to get back into balance, then you won't get to that point. That's where the problems go away. Like I said, I gained 20, we don't have a scale anymore because in the past, I used to be a little bit over the top with weighing myself every day. And so we don't have a scale anymore. But I can tell you by the way my clothes fit, the number of times I had to buy new pants every time a season changed because nothing fit, that I gained quite a bit of weight while I was in school. And since using the quantum testing, since being able to help my body get back into balance, I'm not exercising right now because, as I said, my adrenals were stressed out. I needed to take a break on the working out. And in the past, I used to push myself and push myself and push myself because I thought that's what my body needed to get the weight off and to be healthy. And ultimately, it was working against me. So I'm not really working out right now. I do some strength training. I don't do CrossFit anymore. I don't run anymore. I go for walks with my dog. And I still eat pretty much the way I did before. I'm not perfect. We do have treat days from time to time. And ultimately, I've lost at least what I gained in school and more. So when we figure out what the body needs to get back into balance and get back into health and give it that support, then it's able to kind of get you the results that you want, and you don't have to deal with the symptoms or the side effects of going on medication. So hopefully this is helpful for you. I know a lot of people, this is something I hear all the time from clients. I think there's something wrong with my thyroid, or I think there's something not right with me. And I went to the doctor, and the doctor said, you know what, your blood work is fine. There's nothing wrong with you. But ultimately, as I've mentioned, that blood work is not comparing you to you. That blood work is comparing you to everyone else. So if the thyroid ranges that are considered optimal aren't the right fit for you, even getting within that range is not going to benefit you. It's not going to help you get better. So if you're dealing with symptoms, if you're dealing with things that you're finding a hard time resolving or getting past, we can help you. At Align Natural Health, that's how we help our clients. We use quantum nutrition testing to test every single organ and gland in your body to figure out where the imbalances are and what the body needs to get back into balance. As Amanda said, that's a really good comment. We know our bodies better than anyone else. So if you feel like something's not right, even though everyone's telling you it's all in your head, I've had that one too. That was from a gynecologist. That was not a fun experience. But when someone's telling you there's nothing wrong with you, it's all in your head, and in your gut, you know that something's not right, listen to it. It doesn't mean that you can't ask someone else. It doesn't mean you can't get another opinion. It doesn't mean that you can't look for someone who's willing to help you dig deeper and figure out what's going on with you. Because ultimately, your body you only get one. We can't replace it. So if there's something going on with you and you need our help, please reach out anytime. You can grab the link in my bio. You can send me a message as well, and I'd be more than happy to help you. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to leave them below. I'll check back again later. And yeah, I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and I